Hey guys, Prince of Macedon here, and I'm going to do a reverse battle of the last battle, where I was Alexander versus Caesar. This time I am Caesar versus Alexander the Great, and I am joined by my co-commentator for What If Battles, Ace Blazer 25.
Hey guys, Blaze, aka Ace Blazer here, and Prince of Macedon is going to be doing this another heavyweight battle, huh? This time in honor of Caesar. He's going to be controlling Caesar against one of another heavyweight. It's Alexander the Great.
That's right guys, it's only just that Caesar gets to fight Alexander the Great, commanded by me of course. And
One of the greatest
yeah,
commanders of all time.
indeed. Two great commanders, and two of my favorites. And it's cool seeing these two armies pitted against each other. And by the way, happy Ides of March, guys.
It's only fitting
It's only fitting that I should end this
on
series.
the Ides of March.
Exactly. And hopefully Caesar does not die today.
But if it did, it'd be at the hands of Alexander. I think he'd be
Indeed.
honored.
And it'd also be historically accurate to die on this day. So I guess either way it's a win-win for me, huh? For everybody.
Alright, so what's this army based off of again?
Oh yeah, this is Caesar's army, the Battle of Munda, where he had about 40,000 infantry and about 8,000 horsemen, who were mainly Germanic and Gallic. And of his heavy infantry elements, about 32,000 or so were heavy infantry. And
Very capable.
yeah, very capable army. Yeah. Whereas
Compared to Alexander's army, which is a lot less fully trained troops, I'd say. I don't know.
they're fully trained. It's just that there weren't that many like native Macedonians fighting in that element.
Yes.
Um,
His core was much smaller.
Indeed. Alexander's army. This was his battle. This was his army at the Battle of Arbela, where he had about 40 to 47,000 infantry and about 7,000 high quality cavalry. And of that number, there were about I don't know, 20-ish to 30-ish thousand heavy infantry, but only 12,000 of those heavy infantry were actually Macedonian, and the rest were composed of his city-state allies and mercenaries.
Alright. So, from a combined arms approach, because Alexander's army uses such a combined arms view, do you think Caesar's army was just as capable from that viewpoint as using all elements of his army?
I couldn't say so, because Caesar's army was definitely, there's a bigger bias towards infantry, and and because of the lack of like light infantry, like peltists, archers, and whatnot, that made this kind of army a lot more susceptible to like guerrilla tactics, like as seen at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, where they were ambushed. That kind of thing never happened to Alexander while he was campaigning. And also, when Crassus went east against the Parthians, they found that their lack of cavalry got them at a very huge disadvantage against
Very limiting.
Yes, very very limiting. But what Caesar does have is some of the world's best infantrymen in history, and lots of them too.
Yes, lots of them. That's the biggest factor. He has lots of them.
Yeah, he has lots of them. So against the Parthians, not a good idea. Against guerrillas, maybe not a good idea. But it's different when fighting against the Macedonians, because they were, a traditional, like Western power, where it was still a lot of cavalry, but it was still infantry based.
Lots of the very well-trained infantry, just that Rome overpowered them manpower-wise.
Yeah,
I'd say.
indeed. Yeah, like the later Macedonians, they had trouble fighting against these armies, but it was a different style of Macedonian army, unfortunately. Not the same kind of finesse army that Alexander the Great would have had. Because there was a bigger focus on combined arms, as you were saying earlier. It wasn't just infantry that could win. I should say it's not just the cavalry that could win. Alexander proved at the Hydaspes even his phalanx could win battles. And
Alright.
so, yeah, if you could look at my cav, I did what my opponent did not do. I intermixed them with infantry, and now I have my legionnaires intermixed with my cav. Because, I guess you could say Caesar does know his history about Alexander. He even wept at his statue. So I think he would have known at this point that the Macedonians were packing better heat in the cavalry department. So definitely going to support my weaker cav, who are numerically stronger, but I'm going to give them some infantry support.
Oh man, and here comes the Pelostorm.
Oh yeah, this is the Pelostorm.
Crippling.
Yeah, I think this has been a huge X factor in this kind of conflict.
I noticed you sent your guys up into one line, but basically that allowed them to throw all their Pila into the phalanx line.
Indeed. Yeah, there were some instances where, you know, this kind of army, they would have formed into a line just to match the enemy's front. And I think in this kind of scenario, fighting against a Greek-style army, then I think Caesar would have spread his troops out in a big line. And kept some reserves, of course. Some reserves.
Yeah, it allows you to find gaps in his line and allow you to surround them.
Indeed.
Let your infantry do the work.
Yeah. Look at my, use my light auxiliary to pepper his Greek cav. Hey, the Hollow Knight says hi, Paw. Alright, so I'm sending my cav around this wing, but my opponent's gonna respond with his cav in the center here. Look at this. Cav charge in the center.
Alright. And those were his royal pikemen right there.
Yeah.
And so no wonder they routed your infantry in the middle.
And all my infantry is routed in the middle, actually. But at the same time, I'm doing my own strikes on his wing here.
And you've got some reserves in the back.
Yeah.
Some good Roman tactics.
Very good Roman tactics. But at the same time, Macedonian tactics are also prevailing in the center. But I started to push him out with my Roman cav over here.
Gods be praised.
Oh.
But oh no!
The enemy general is
Oh
dead.
no, not Alexander!
We killed Alexander the Great. Hail Caesar! Oh,
Caesar
man.
forever.
Yeah, Caesar, Caesar forever. And we're gonna surround these royal pikes.
Oh yeah, they're getting squished.
Yeah. All kinds of chaos though, so I'm losing even more units over here too. Those were Roman cav fighting to the death. Yeah, the battle's kind of all over the place. He's winning in some spots, and I'm winning in other spots. And I don't like this hoplites.
Caesar's fighting right in the middle there.
Yes. Here's Caesar.
Taking an example from Alexander.
Yes. Caesar was quite the leader. Like, he could be where the trouble spots were needed. He would be there to inspire his men to fight better. And over here, we actually routed these pikes over here. It's pretty sweet. Those are his royals, representing the...
This is a much closer battle than the last one.
Yeah. I was surprised by that, because you know, in my opinion, I think the Romans have a huge advantage in this, in this fight. Not to mention that the Macedonians have about 1,000 denarii less than the Romans in this battle.
Oh.
But yeah, it was. It started off really well for the Macedonians, but then I got a nice counterattack on his wing, and then I used Caesar in the middle to
bolster.
Yeah, to bolster and seal that breach that he made.
Yep. And you left his royal pikes for last, it looks like.
Yep. Where are they? They are... Yeah, earlier,
they're fighting to the death.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
fighting to the death.
Fighting to the death. And
Like
I'm gonna rout these
Macedonians.
dudes. Yes. Yeah, Caesar knows very well what these Macedonians are capable of. So, yeah, this battle's pretty much over. What do you think of these two commanders? Who do you prefer? And then I'll ask you who you think would win.
I prefer Alexander, and I think Alexander would win. Simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. But I think a fight against Caesar would have been probably the most desperate battles of his life. But I still think he would have triumphed because Alexander's army was the epitome of the Macedonian art of war. Very big concentration on every element: the cavalry, the light infantry, the heavy infantry. Yeah, wherever he went, he fought to the utmost.
Something I love about Alexander is that he's just so adaptable. He can like fight almost anywhere, like guerrilla tactics, conventional, what do you call, regular battle. He wins them all.
Indeed, he fought in the mountains. Won all those siege battles, very spectacular siege battles. I think I was thinking about this scenario just now, actually. Now that you mention it, Caesar was good at building like his own little forts on the march, and
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, and because Alexander was like one of the masters of sieges, I think that would be really interesting to see what would
Aha.
happen. Yeah, if Caesar built a fort knowing he couldn't win in an open pitch battle, so let's say he digs in and then fights Alexander in
Oh
a
yeah,
siege battle. That would
that'd
be
be
very,
interesting.
yeah, very intriguing. I think in an open battle, I don't think Caesar could stand up to this. And that's not just me saying that. Also, JFC Fuller, who wrote the generalship of Alexander, and also
Hmm.
Caesar, Man Myth, the Tyrant. He just thinks this Roman army is completely deficient of capable cavalry.
Hmm.
Um, Also, Theodore Dodge was of the same opinion about Caesar's cavalry.
And like the best example you can use in a hypothetical fight is like the Diadochi or the successors, but even then they could not match up to Alexander, I'd say, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
indeed.
So,
Like his immediate successors, they were quite a handful, I think. But
hmm.
the further down you go down the line, the less capable. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that. I would say the less um, Alexander-esque the army were,
Hmm.
because as you go further down the road, there's a bigger reliance on heavier infantry to win battles. Like
Hmm.
cavalry becomes more deficient and less capable. But yeah, there were like some talks about like what would happen if the his immediate successors did not fight each other. Let's say they went west instead, and
Hmm.
they fulfilled Alexander the Great's dreams of going against the Arabs, the Carthaginians, and then finally meeting the Romans. That would have been a very
Ooh,
interesting proposition. But these guys, they learned the art of war with Alexander,
it's true.
so that would have been pretty interesting. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm not sure where I was going with that. Probably nowhere. Oh, let me ask you a fun question. Have you seen a lot of movies featuring Julius Caesar or TV shows? Whatever.
Um, the main one I can think of is HBO's Rome, which is a very solid series,
Uh huh.
and some random movies here or there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask, who is your favorite, I guess, actor depicting Julius Caesar? And if you can't think of their name, you can just say what show they're in, because
Uh,
I don't remember that guy's name either.
yeah. Um, Rome, HBO Rome was the only one I actually like really followed. So like I'd have to say I really got attached to his depiction of Julius Caesar.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think what I have to be. A lot of other movies, he's depicted as a real arrogant tyrant and stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
I would say he was arrogant. I mean, all those commentaries, writing about himself. But
hmm.
I think it's one of those arrogance that he kind of not really deserved, but it kind of goes with the territory of being a world-class superstar, I suppose.
Hmm. I'm trying to think like he's a very brutal, I could say, brutal politician. I think
Hmm.
that's mostly what I describe him as.
Yeah, he's a shady character. Like he's not a bad guy, but he's not really a good guy either.
So he's a shady character among many of his contemporaries who are also very shady characters.
Oh,
So
definitely.
yeah.
I would have never like imagined living with those kind of people. I mean, nah, actually
uh,
that's not true. A lot of my friends are like that. No,
uh,
like I'm like seriously like I mean not my friends, but like people I know. Like I mean certainly they wouldn't stab me, on a date like this, but I mean not physically speaking. Oh my gosh, what am I saying? Anyways, yeah, my favorite actor depicting Julius Caesar would definitely be the guy from HBO's Rome. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name right now. Um, oh, but I do want to say the closest looking to Julius Caesar, I think, I mean, in relations to his statues, would be Timothy Dalton.
nice.
Yeah, he played him in Hallmark's Cleopatra,
Hmm.
but I don't think he quite depicted his demeanor and his menace that the guy from HBO's Rome depicted. I think that guy he was like spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was this badass. I mean, gosh, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how Hollywood's depicted Julius Caesar. It kind of differed throughout the ages.
Hmm.
I think that's the biggest factor.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of I've seen a lot like a bunch of documentaries and like they always focus on like his like leadership and his inspirational abilities, but not so much his brutalness. And that's why I thought I liked Rome's best because it showed all those aspects.
Indeed, yeah. He was a very complex character.
Hmm.
He had a lot going for him, and there was a lot of like I guess dark side, like a dark side to him,
Hmm.
which I think is kind of cool for in terms of reading about history.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It can make for some good TV,
Indeed.
good
Yeah, man, dude.
entertainment.
Yeah, when HBO's Rome season 1 ended, I was so sad because I knew that that's the last I would see of Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, any closing thoughts on this battle or Caesar or anything?
Just gotta say, it was a really fun battle. It was much closer this time, so
Hmm.
very entertaining to watch. It's a good game to both of you.
Yeah, good game to my opponent. Thank you, Ace, for joining me in this this historically significant date, March 15.
Hmm.
Um,
Glad I could be on for this great date.
indeed, indeed.
Real honor.
Yes. So I guess that's it. I just want to end by saying Hail Caesar.
Indeed. Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar.